Georgia, Alabama. Over the last 18 years, just once has neither team won the SEC championship. And when these two teams meet on the same floor, they call it the Big Show. And you can be sure of one thing, that sparks certainly will fly. After spending 2 weeks on the road competing, the Alabama Crimson Tide return home to Coleman Coliseum as they take on the #1 team in the country, the Georgia Gym Dogs, today against the Alabama Crimson Tide, who are currently 4th overall. Bernie Gunther with you here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and it's Susan Yacklin and her Georgia Gym Dogs. 3 years in a row have they won the NCAA championship. They'll take on an Alabama team that is hungry for an upset as Sarah Patterson gets her team ready. Let's send it down to my partner, Lori Strong-Ballard, as the crowd very pumped up here inside Coleman Coliseum.
Bernie, you can feel the energy already, and soon these stands will be packed with nearly 15,000 fans who have come to watch two of the top teams in the nation go head-to-head. It's Georgia, Alabama, and in what many consider the toughest rivalry in the sport. Now, the 3-time defending national champions Georgia Bulldogs come in here after posting the highest score in the nation last week, and that propelled them to the #1 spot in the country. They call this competition the Big Show, and here's why.
Over the years, if we wanted to win a national championship, we had to get through Georgia, and if Georgia wanted to win one, that they had to get through us. And I think the two programs together have done a lot for college gymnastics. You know, I think the rivalry is great. I think if you look back the history of college gymnastics, it's this meet that started to put fans in the stands on both sides. And then I think other schools took from what the University of Alabama and the University of Georgia had, and I think they tried to expand and have expanded their programs. And the parity across the country, I think, is tremendous.
Whoever wins or loses this competition has an opportunity to bounce back and still be the national champion. So it's not as impactful, the outcome of the meet, but the competition itself, the process, what we will go through tonight, the band, the fans, the noise, the lies, it's going to be crazy. And that is such a strong lesson for our team and such a big part of the process in preparing us for April, that, you know, the Alabama-Georgia meet is just something that every team has to, you know, we have to look at every year as being a critical part of our schedule.
Well, any big show has its top stars, and leading the way for Georgia is Courtney Kupets, a 2-time Olympic medalist and twice the NCAA National All-Around Champion. And she is backed by Heenan, a 9-time All-American and always Georgia's go-to girl. And Courtney McCool is coming off of the collegiate competition of her career, scoring almost perfect 10s on both beam and floor, and she won SEC Gymnast of the Week last week. Now the star status continues on Alabama's side with Morgan Dennis, a top all-arounder, and also the 2007 National Floor Champion. She will anchor Alabama's lineup on the floor and close out this entire competition with her signature powerful tumbling. Now Taryn Humphrey, who is a 2-time Olympic medalist and national bar champion, is forced to sit this competition out with a back injury, but stepping up big time for the Tide is a freshman in Kayla Hoffman. She is the real deal, one of the top all-arounders in the country. She is the whole package of both power and grace. The stage is set, so Bernie, let the big show begin.
Well, 8 years in a row, the Georgia Gym Dogs have won this matchup tonight. The Alabama Crimson Tide look to snap it at home. Big Al is ready as the curtain rises on the big show when we come back.
Again, 2 falls to start off this rotation for Georgia.
So that brings up Grace Taylor, the NCAA balance beam runner-up a year ago.
Grace sprained her ankle at the team's sneak peek earlier this season and has only been able to compete on bars. Tonight we'll also see her in the beam lineup. Hop to an endo, bail to handstand on the low bar, immediate Stalder circle, Stalder back up to the high bar. Oh, excellent release element right there. It's called the Comanche Salto. And the dismount, double layout, only a tiny step on the landing. Fantastic routine, great comeback for this Georgia team. We're going to take a look at that very unique release element here. It happens so quickly. It's called the Comaneci Salto, named after Nadia Comaneci, one of the sport's greatest athletes. She performed it for the first time in the 70s.
Second team All-American a year ago, a bar score of 9.9, so a nice comeback, as you mentioned. Crimson Tide getting set for the vault, and they'll be without Taryn Humphrey, last year's NCAA uneven bars champion. She's out with a back injury, but Sarah Patterson says she's been dealing with a lot lately.
She has had some difficulties, and she also right now is struggling from the virus that's going around that Kayla Hoffman had last week. You know, I think over the course of the season, you know, your athletes come in and out of illness, and you know, the flu season, you really can't, you know, you try and do everything you can to protect against it, but I just feel like Taryn won't compete tonight, but down the road, you know, if we can get these young people some experience, she's a veteran, she knows how to compete, and when we get her back in there, it'll just make us that much better.
It's a long season, and it's important to have your best athletes healthy at the end. Now, something else Sarah told us is that landings would be imperative, especially on this event against Georgia. Freshman Kayla Hoffman is fantastic in her technique, and Morgan Dennis is simply a huge vaulter.
And Ricki Lebegern will start things off, the sophomore on vault for Alabama.
Alabama looked great in warm-up. We'll see if it pays off here. Oh, beautiful vault, excellent landing. Just what they wanted as their lead-off performer. This vault is clean and it's explosive. The judges were paying particular attention, especially in warm-up, to the angle of the repulsion, of the lift off of the horse. They want to see it near vertical or there will be a deduction.
A good start, a 9.8. And up next is Katie Heenan on bars. She has a chance to win a national championship every year she's been at school at Georgia.
Our national championships are big confidence boosters, and they are in the backs of our minds. But this is a new year and a new team, and the season already has started out in a new way. And so that's definitely, we're thinking about that, and that's definitely a pride thing. But we right now are taking it one meet at a time to get on the right road to our fourth national championship.
Very few teams in any sport have accomplished 4 in a row, and how special would it be to do it at home? NCAAs are in Athens this year.
Well, she's got a couple individual championships as well, 2005 and 2007 SEC all-around champion.
Last week, Katie posted a new career high on this event, a 9.95. Excellent job. She does that Jaeger salto so well. Bail to handstand on the low bar, immediate toe on to handstand, toe on back up to the high bar. It's the combination of those types of elements back to back that make this routine special and world class. Dismount double front, finds the landing. It's a blind one, but not a problem for Katie. Fantastic routine.
And Katie Heenan still recovering from herniated disc, has not competed in the all-around yet here in 2008.
She's training floor, but she's still out of the lineup there. Now let's take a look at that amazing release element. It's a Jaeger salto, and what makes it so special here is that she is way above the bar. The height is fantastic.
And she matches her career best, which she set last week at LSU, 9.95. Still more to come. Rotation 1 continues from Tuscaloosa.
That is something that Sarah Patterson said was going to be so important tonight. Kayla starts with such a powerful run, and that shows that she is confident on this vault. Her block goes up very nicely. You don't see her initiate that twist too early. She creates the height, then the twist, and that is why the technique is so strong.
Matches her career best, 9.875. We go back, and Courtney Kupets, who scored a perfect 10 last year against Alabama in Athens. That was a memorable performance.
And that was the first 10 for a Georgia gymnast since 2003. That was her first perfect 10. It was quite a night. And remember, she was an Olympic medalist on this event, and of course she's an NCAA national champion. It's her exceptional technique and form that makes her stand out. On top of the great difficulty, she has 5 release elements in this routine. There's number 5 right there. It's called a Horkina. The minimum requirement on this event is 2 release moves. She goes above and beyond and finishes with a very difficult double layout dismount and a clean landing.
Of course, she was an NCAA all-around champion as well.
She has a nice variety of skills and, of course, directly connected. See a bail to handstand, toe on, back up to the high bar.
And another good score, 9.950. So good scores thus far, and take a look at the Gym Dogs. They finished with a 49.425.
They took a big hit with that first routine by Nikki Childs, but they came back and proved why they are the national champions.
And speaking of the national champion, Morgan Dennis is another one that we'll see. She's a national champion on floor, but here she is on vault.
Take a look at the height and distance on this vault. Another Yurchenko layout full. She lands way down the landing mat. So explosive on this vault. That is why she anchors this lineup. If you put up anyone after her, that vault will look simply small. Morgan's athletic, and she has great leg strength, and that allows her to really focus on the technique and take her time on this vault. Scores have been tight tonight, a little lower than usual, a 9.85. Little deductions on the landing there.
And Alabama finishes with a score on vault of 48.9 as a team.
And again, if the scores are tight, normally they would score in the 49 range on this event.
I saw the shabash and then I saw the sit-up. I was like, oh my God, you fingertipped every sit-up.
You can hear how Suzanne is proud of her athletes for fighting through everything on bars.
And they fought to almost a half-a-point lead over the Alabama Crimson Tide. We have gone through one rotation here at Coleman Coliseum. We'll trade places on the apparatus when we come back.